What is the passive voice? The passive voice is used when we want to emphasize the action and the object of a sentence rather than subject. This means that the subject is either less important than the action. If that's or that we don't know how or what is the subject. Passive. Napal Berry is known for these exciting wines. How do we use passive voice? The passive voice is used when we want to focus attention on the person or thing affected by the action. Normally, the performance of the action or the agent comes first and it is made the subject of the verb, and then we use the active form from the verb. The other person or things is made the object of the verb. Examples. An interesting novel is read. I am reading an interesting novel. I read an interesting novel last night. An interesting novel was read last night. I was reading an interesting novel. An interesting novel was being written. I have read an interesting novel. An interesting novel has been read. I had read an interesting novel. An interesting novel have been read. I will read an interesting novel. An interesting novel will be read. I am going to read an interesting novel. An interesting novel is going to be read. I should read an interesting novel. An interesting novel should be read. I should have read an interesting novel. An interesting novel should have been read. Thanks for hearing me and goodbye.